water, many great sons and many daughters. And we have the land, yo, where many ask for. We never see Katrina, nah, those disaster. I feel nice, we come from the golden city. Girl born in gold dust, so we show them pretty. The man full of faith, me nah know none was slippy. Guyana, me say big up on no city. Cause this is the dear land of the free, land of the many waters, resources and trees, land of the rivers and seas. I proud, Phoebe, Guyanese, land of the Amerindians, the Africans, the East Indians, and Portuguese, not to mention the Europeans and the Chinese. Them feel blessed from Guyana, these breeze. Cause enough people tour around the world and ask about Guyana, but don't know where that is. That is the last city of El Dorado in the world. That is the land where we live. Land of the biggest one-drop falls. Plus we have the longest floating bridge. We from South America, some say the Caribbean, but still a thanks we a give. Alright, 1, 2, mic check. View from gravity, are the nicest. Match time, my city. Are the hypest, we see them gyal wine up in a some liquor tight dress. We are hustle from morning till night catch. Them finno Guyanese, get a youth not like rest. House and car, them finno we like press. Check the bank line them. We not like check. We got gold and diamond, them think priceless. Timber bauxite, then check the aisle next. GDF, Miami is the finest. I mean I talk about the sugar, nor the rice yet. So I'm Marshall, I drop the Guyanese bomb. For feed the nation, that's the Guyanese plan. Big up a kilo, them with them Guyanese land. Guyana, that's where them Guyanese from. People tour around the world and ask about Guyana, but don't know where that is. That is the last city of El Dorado in the world. That is the land where we live. Land of the biggest one-drop falls. Plus we have the longest floating bridge. We from South America, some say the Caribbean, but still at times we a give. I came from a land, it have many water, many great sons and many daughters. Is we have the land, what many ask for, we never see Katrina or nah, those disaster. I feel nice, we come from the golden city. Girl born in gold dust, so we sure them pretty. The man full of faith, we nah know none was slippy. Guyana, we say big up on no city. Enough people tour around the world and ask about Guyana, but don't know where that is. That is the last city of El Dorado in the world. That is the land where we live. Land of the biggest one-drop falls. Plus we have the longest floating bridge. We from South America, some say the Caribbean, but still a thanks we a give. Hello, Wagwan. I the nuclear family, El Master one up fully. A one-time records, a 592, we think that. Hello, Wagwan.
Hey yo, my G, where you from?
Guyana.
Ghana?
No, Guyana.
Yeah.
Hello, Wagwan.
Yeah.
I came from a land, it have many water, many great sons and many daughters. And we have the land, yo, where many ask for. We never see Katrina, nah, those disaster. I feel nice, we come from the golden city. Girl born in gold dust, so we show them pretty. The man full of faith, me nah know none was slippy. Guyana, me say big up on no city. Cause this is the dear land of the free, land of the many waters, resources and trees, land of the rivers and seas. I proud, Phoebe, Guyanese, land of the Amerindians, the Africans, the East Indians, and Portuguese, not to mention the Europeans and the Chinese. Them feel blessed from Guyana, these breeze. Cause enough people tour around the world and ask about Guyana, but don't know where that is. That is the last city of El Dorado in the world. That is the land where we live. Land of the biggest one-drop falls. Plus we have the longest floating bridge. We from South America, some say the Caribbean, but still a thanks we a give. Alright, 1, 2, mic check. View from gravity, are the nicest. Match time, my city. Are the hypest, we see them gyal wine up in a some liquor tight dress. We are hustle from morning till night catch. Them finno Guyanese, get a youth not like rest. House and car, them finno we like press. Check the bank line them. We not like check. We got gold and diamond, them think priceless. Timber bauxite, then check the aisle next. GDF, Miami is the finest. I mean I talk about the sugar, nor the rice yet. So I'm Marshall, I drop the Guyanese bomb. For feed the nation, that's the Guyanese plan. Big up a kilo, them with them Guyanese land. Guyana, that's where them Guyanese from. People tour around the world and ask about Guyana, but don't know where that is. That is the last city of El Dorado in the world. That is the land where we live. Land of the biggest one-drop falls. Plus we have the longest floating bridge. We from South America, some say the Caribbean, but still at times we a give. I came from a land, it have many water, Many great sons and many daughters. Is we have the land. What many ask for, we never see Katrina or nah, those disaster. I feel nice, we come from the golden city. Girl born in gold dust, so we sure them pretty. The man full of faith, we know none was slippy. Guyana, we say big up on the city. Enough people tour around the world and ask about Guyana, but don't know where that is. That is the last city of El Dorado in the world. That is the land where we live. Land of the biggest one drop falls. Plus we have the longest floating bridge. We from South America, some say the Caribbean, but still a thanks we a give. Hello, Wagwan. I the nuclear family, hey master, one up fully. A one-time records, a 592, we think them. Hello, Wagwan.
Hey yo, my G, where you from?
Guyana.
Ghana?
No, Guyana. Yeah. Hello, Wagwan. Yeah. I came from a land. It have many water, many great sons and many daughters. And we have the land, yo, where many ask for. We never see Katrina, nah, those disaster. I feel nice, we come from the golden city. Girl born in gold dust, so we show them pretty. The man full of faith, me nah know none must slippy. Guyana, me say big up on no city. Cause this is the dear land of the free. Land of the many waters, resources and trees. Land of the rivers and seas. I proud, Phoebe, Guyanese. Land of the Amerindians, the Africans, the East Indians. And Portuguese, not to mention the Europeans and the Chinese. Them feel blessed from Guyana beach breeze. Cause enough people tour around the world and ask about Guyana, but don't know where that is. That is the last city of El Dorado in the world. That is the land where we live. Land of the biggest one drop falls. Plus we have the longest floating bridge. We from South America, some say the Caribbean, but still a thanks we a give. Alright, 1, 2, mic check. View from gravity, are the nicest. Match time, my city. Are the hypest, we see them gyal wine up in a some liquor tight dress. We are hustle from morning till night catch. Them finno Guyanese, get a youth not like rest. House and car, them finno we like press. Check the bank line them. We not like check. We got gold and diamond, them think priceless. Timber bauxite, then check the aisle next. GDF, Miami is the finest. I mean I talk about the sugar, nor the rice yet. So a Marshall, I drop the Guyanese bomb. For feed the nation, that's the Guyanese plan. Big up a kilo, them with them Guyanese and Guyana. That's where them Guyanese from. People tour around the world and ask about Guyana, but don't know where that is. That is the last city of El Dorado in the world. That is the land where we live. Land of the biggest one drop falls. Plus we have the longest floating bridge. We from South America, some say the Caribbean, but still a thanks we a give. I came from a land, it have many water, many great sons and many daughters. Is we have the land, what many ask for, we never see Katrina or nah, those disaster. I feel nice, we come from the golden city. Girl born in gold dust, so we sure them pretty. The man full of faith, we know none must slippy. Guyana, we say big up on the city. Enough people tour around the world and ask about Guyana, but don't know where that is. That is the last city of El Dorado in the world. That is the land where we live. Land of the biggest one drop falls. Plus we have the longest floating bridge. We from South America, some say the Caribbean, but still a thanks we a give. Hello, Wagwan. I the nuclear family, hey master, one up fully. A one-time records, a 592, we think them. Hello, Wagwan.
Hey yo, my G, where you from?
Guyana.
Ghana?
No.
This is Quincy Anderson. You know I love my country. There's no other country better than mine. Welcome to Guyana, land of 6 races, 6 different faces, and we all live in love. Guyana is a beautiful country, no other can compare. Got everything right here, so no other can compare. Guyana is made up of so many natural resources. We don't need no forces, cause we got enough resources. Let's talk about bauxite, gold, diamond, and rice. We got it right here. Guyana ain't going nowhere. We got enough oil too. One Guyana, I love Guyana. Guyana, my country. country my home, the only place I call home. One Guyana, I love Guyana. Guyana, my country, my home, the only place I call home. Hey, hey, Guyana is nice, Guyana is fun, Guyana is clean, Guyana is green, Guyana got oil, Guyana got gold, Guyana got young and Guyana got old. I ain't talking no more. Guyana got things, we growing wings and developing things. The government real and that's a big deal. I'm singing from my heart, Guyana. I love Guyana. Guyana, my country, my home, the only place I call home. One Guyana, I love Guyana. Guyana, my country, my home, the only place I call home. Welcome to Guyana, land of 6 races, 6 different faces, and we all live in love. Guyana is a beautiful country, no other can compare. Got everything right here, so no other can compare. Guyana is made up of so many natural resources. We don't need no forces, cause we got enough resources. Let's talk about bauxite, gold, diamond, and rice. We got it right here. Guyana ain't going nowhere. We got enough oil too. One Guyana, I love Guyana. Guyana, my country, my home, the only place I call home. One Guyana, I love Guyana. Guyana, my country, my home, the only place I call home.
With Courdel Jones, you know it's gonna be real from 8 to 9, bringing vibes you can feel. News, views, and what's hot today will keep you wired in every way. Livewire, tune in and feel the spark. Every morning, lighting up your heart. Courdel's here, bringing life to your day. Monday to Friday, we're paving the way. Wake up, the day is bright, time to feel the flow. Turn your dial to Livewire, we're ready to go. With Courdel Jones, you know it's gonna be real. From 8 to 9, from 8 to 9, bringing vibes you can feel. News, views, and what's hot today will keep you wired in every way. We'll keep you wired every way, in every way. Livewire, tune in and feel the spark. Every morning, lighting up your heart. Courdel's here, bringing life to your day. Monday to Friday, we're paving the way. Stories that matter, we've got the scoop. From the latest headlines to the local truth. It's your community, your voice, your power. Livewire hits you every hour. So grab your coffee, your tea, or toast. With Courdel Jones, we'll give you the most. Livewire, we'll give you the way. Coming to the energy, the beat of the street, the show that connects. It's where people meet. We're wired to your world, we got the news. On Livewire, there's nothing to lose. Livewire, tune in and feel the spark. Every morning, lighting up your heart. Courdel's here, bringing life to your day. Monday to Friday, we're paving the way. Livewire, tune in and feel the spark. Every morning, lighting up your heart. Courdel's here, bringing life to your day. Monday to Friday, we're paving the way.
Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Livewire with yours truly. It is the 7th of July, 2026. Happy to be here with you. Morning to the persons joining us across the 10 administrative regions. Morning to the persons joining us across the diaspora. Special good morning to those persons joining us in the comment section. I want to say happy CARICOM Day belatedly to all the Guyanese across the diaspora here in Guyana and our CARICOM brothers and sisters as well. Happy belated 4th of July greetings to those persons residing in the USA. Big celebrations over the weekend, fireworks shows and things like that. Good times, good times, good times. Ah, Here we go. Here we go, people. This morning we got quite a lot to talk about, right? And sad to say, it's usually surrounding the same thing, you know. However, you cannot allow narratives to just float around in the air, especially when they are not genuine, they're not true. Um, and the people who are peddling them have ulterior motives. If this was a genuine effort in holding persons accountable, I could agree with it, right? But it is, it is oftentimes just a case of someone being malicious and choosing not to present all the information that is there, right? So we went from the abattoir. Well, not technically not from the abattoir. We went from Minister Zulfikar Mustafa's son to Minister Zulfikar Mustafa to the abattoir to Brongy, then to the black belly. No, the cows that drown, the flood cows, to the black belly sheep. No, we at a farm. We at a farm now, right? So let's discuss the farm this morning. Let's discuss the farm this morning, right? Let's discuss the farm this morning. I have another segment coming up. Come on, what are you doing? Just a second, please. Only PNG. Just a second. Okay, good. Let me put you in the software one time. Sorry, I had a little late, not a late start, but I had a little hectic morning, and I'm a little behind. That's why we started a bit late, right? But nevertheless, let's jump to this opening editor. I got a fresh graphic for Minister Mustafa and Asadin. I tell you, these people in trouble. Trouble. All right, good. Everything is loaded up and we are ready to go. So as I was saying, let's discuss this farm for a little bit, right? Because hypocrisy seems to be the new order of the day. And this morning, I want us to deal with this thing properly. Because in Guyana, we have now reached a strange place where farming is being treated like crime, agriculture is dressed up like corruption, and a man with serious unanswered questions hanging over his own head is trying to lecture this great nation about land, wealth, transparency, and the most laughable of all, morality. The issue being pushed is President Ali's farm. They want you to believe that a farm is automatically a scandal. They want you to believe that because a president is involved in farming, that must mean corruption. They want you to believe that fish ponds, cattle, poultry, cash crops, orchards, and agricultural investment must be some kind of national emergency. But let's pause right there. Since when did farming become corruption? Since when did food production become a crime? Since when did agriculture become something to hide from? Since when did a farm become more suspicious than gold mining? Well, not gold mining, but illegal gold mining, illegal gold exports, underrated customs declarations, tax evasion allegations, international sanctions, and extradition proceedings. Let us not allow noise to replace facts. The fugitive offender opposition leader Assadin Mohammed has gone after President Ali over what has been reported as a 150-acre farm. He has made allegations, a bunch of claims. He has tried to paint a picture. But again, the social media videos and hype are not evidence. A drone shot is not a court case. A camera angle does not facilitate a conviction. Again, we have a situation where we have no proof. And when I say proof, proof of wrongdoing. If the opposition leader has evidence, please let him bring the evidence. Bring the land records. Bring the bank records. Bring the proof of state money being used. Bring the proof of hidden ownership of the property. Bring the proof of illegal enrichment. Bring the proof that taxpayers' money was used. Bring the proof that public equipment was used. Bring the proof that contracts were diverted. More so, or I should say most of all, bring the proof that laws were broken. But do not stand in front of a farm, point a camera, and tell Guyanese people that because land is being cultivated, corruption has been proven. That's not investigation. That is small stage political theater. And Guyanese, I hope to God, are smarter than this. Now let us deal with this big point of a 150-acre farm by itself. Right? By itself is not extraordinary, 150 acres. It is not unusual. And that's why sometimes I often see on this program, just Google things, simple Google, anything. Well, however you formulate the thought in your head, you type it right like that, just so in the Google search bar. And Google will provide you with answers. You go to Google and type in, have any presidents owned farms or ranches? Has any current or former president owned a farm or a ranch? What was the acreage of those farms and ranches owned by former past presidents? Right? So, a president owning a farm or a ranch is not something unheard of in the world of leadership. Around the world, and I encourage you to Google it, around the world, presidents, former presidents, prime ministers, political leaders, and statesmen have owned farms, ranches, estates, cattle operations, poultry farms, nut farms, cocoa farm, dairy farm, game farm, and agricultural lands in general. Many of them have owned lands far greater than 150 acres. Let's go to the great USA. The very first president of the United States, George Washington, was deeply involved in farming. Mount Vernon was not a little backyard garden. Washington cultivated thousands of acres, and I think some people said he owned slaves too. Thomas Jefferson had the Monticello, the plantation there. That measured in thousands of acres. James Madison also had thousands of acres. Andrew Jackson began with hundreds of acres and expanded into a major plantation estate. Let's come forward to modern times, because I know they're gonna holler, look, the people Courdel call it from eons ago. Ronald Reagan had his ranch in California at around 688 acres. George Bush has his Chapel Ranch in Texas at around 1,600 acres. Jimmy Carter from Carter Center had big farms. Big farms in hundreds of acres. So what exactly is the scandal? We could go to, and that's not the only examples. I got much more. What exactly is the scandal? That President Ali has a farm? That President Ali is involved in agriculture? That President Ali, who speaks about food security, regional food production, and Guyana becoming an agricultural powerhouse, is himself investing in agriculture? That is not a contradiction. That is consistency. A leader who preaches agriculture and investment in agriculture, and I should say invest in agriculture, is not exposed. A leader who preaches about agriculture and invests in agriculture is not exposed. He is practicing what he is preaching. Now, let us go beyond the miracle. Former Nigerian presidents built major agricultural enterprises, especially in poultry farming. Former Ghanaian presidents have connections with cocoa farming and oil palm farming. The current president of Sierra Leone. The current president, he has publicly promoted agriculture and farming as a part of national development and has invested heavily in that as well. Uganda's current president has long been associated with cattle farming. The ruling Kenyan family, the Kenny Tatas, have vast land holdings and agricultural interests. Again, this is not new. Leaders farm, leaders ranch, leaders plant, leaders rear cattle, leaders invest in land. Leaders leave office and write books, start foundations, build libraries, do humanitarian work, return to private business, engage in diplomacy, teach, paint, farm, and manage estates. That is normal all over the world. So let us stop pretending that a farm is a scandal because politics requires a headline. The real test is simple. Was it legitimately acquired? Ask. Was it declared where required? Ask. Was it financed properly? Ask. Was state funds used? Was there illegal enrichment? Was there any proof of any of these allegations? That is the test. Not jealousy, not envy, not political bitterness, not a man with a camera shouting corruption. Now, with that being said, I want to turn a little bit to talk about hypocrisy. Because the same opposition leader, who's a fugitive offender, who wants the country to faint over this 150 acres of farmland, comes from a business enterprise publicly associated with tens of thousands of acres of mining land. Let me repeat that slowly. Ask wants Guyanese to panic over 150 acres of agricultural land, right? 150 acres of agricultural land. This is land that's returning something back into the society, right? Because let me say, you say, the president only giving his friends, family, and favorites beef and mutton and fish and greens and orange and cherry and thing. Then people ain't gotta go and buy it from the market no more. So they got more thing in the market for other people to buy. And because them people ain't buying and more thing in the market, the price got come down because more thing, everybody got more things to sell. You understand? Contrast that to tens of thousands, 150 acres. Contrast to tens of thousands of acres of mining land where they're destroying something that pays us as Guyanese, our forests, extracting the gold, smuggling it out, tax evasion, all kind of thing. And you are talking about 150? You're talking about 150? So Guyanese are supposed to panic. Oh, jeez. Guyanese are supposed to panic over 150 acres. And your father and yourself, through the companies that you guys own, had approximately 80,000 acres of mining lands for about 14 years. $80,000 acres. Yeah, please put 80,000 in the comments. Please put 80,000 acres in the comments. Hold on. Sean Moore, let me say something to you. My family has over 296 acres of private property along the Linden-Sussex Highway. Private property. I am entitled to inherit about 80-something acres of that. Right? And anybody who know me, check my videos. I got farming videos when I used to farm, photos across the land, from road to river, parcels of land. Some families tend to invest in the future because they got other persons coming, Sean. And some families tend to just down on a weekend and not put systems in place in the future. I hope that you are different, my brother. 296 acres, Dalgin, Linden Sues like highway. So, Sean, I hope you don't think I bullshitting you, bro. You understand? There's more land than President Ali got. My family property is more land than President Ali got right now on the same Linden Sues like highway. So, is that corruption? 80,000 acres in the chat, please. Is that corruption? So could you imagine the testicular fortitude of Azadeen Mohammed? 80,000 acres, not 800, not 8,000, 80,000. And in another public interview, Mohammed's enterprise was associated with another 50,000 acres of prime gold land, with Azadeen himself described as managing the operations and being a key figure in that business. So let's do the maths. Let's do the maths. Right? A 150-acre farm, and let me use a smaller number. Compared to a 50,000-acre mining land means that the mining land is more than 333 times larger than President Ali's farm. The mining land, the smaller set of mining lands controlled by As Muhammad and his father, Nazar Shell Muhammad, was 333 times greater than President Ali farm. Now, let's compare that same 150-acre farm to the 80,000 acres of mining land that they also had. Right? Now, with the 80,000 acres, when you do the maths, the 80,000 acres that As and his father controlled is more than 533 times larger than President Ali's farm. 533 times larger. And President Ali farm entitled no animal smuggling, tax evasion, illegal imports, nothing like that. So who is fooling who? Who is fooling who? How can a man connected to an empire that spoke openly about tens of thousands of acres of mining land turn around and pretend that a 150-acre farm is the greatest scandal in Guyana? How? How do you stand on a mountain and complain about a molehill? How do you come from gold fields, concessions, export chains, mining land, heavy equipment, royalty, customs declarations, international scrutiny, and then pretend that fish ponds and cattle are the problem? Let us be clear. Farming feeds people. Mining extracts wealth. Farming grows food. Mining digs into the earth. A farm can give Guyana fish, eggs, chicken, beef, fruits, vegetables, jobs, irrigation, drainage, and food security. Mining lands give access to gold, mineral, forests, rivers, roads, machinery, and massive wealth. So before us lectures Guyana about 150 acres. He must first explain the tens of thousands of acres his own family business empire had in mining operations. And if that was fine, what's wrong with this 150 acres? Do not come to Guyanese people with selective morality. Do not come to Guyanese people with one standard for President Ali and another standard for yourself. Do not come to Guyanese people pretending that 150 acres of agriculture is suspicious and 80,000 acres of mining land is normal. You must bribe up all them people at GGMC. That is not accountability. That is hypocrisy wearing a microphone. Acts. And let us not ignore the elephant in the room. The opposition leader is not just some neutral anti-corruption crusader. He is not an ordinary citizen asking clean questions. He is a US sanctioned businessman. The US Treasury sanctioned Azzedine Mohammed, Nazar Mohammed, and Mohammed's enterprise. The US authorities alleged Mohammed's enterprise omitted more than 10,000 kilograms of gold from import and export declarations and avoided paying more than US 50 million in duties and taxes. And you talking about a 150-acre farm? Those are serious allegations, Azzedine. And yes, we must say this clearly. Allegations are not convictions. Everyone is presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. But if Ass wants to put himself forward as the moral police of Guyana, then he cannot run away from the fact that he himself is under serious international scrutiny. Addresses everything else under the sun but his own issues. And the Guyana Fire Service headquarters on Homechurch Avenue. Please go and do a live there. Please hold the contractor accountable, brother. He cannot behave as though his own house is not on fire while pointing across the road and shouting smoke, smoke. And that's what he's doing with Minister Mustafa and his family as well. You shouting, oh, look, Minister Mustafa, look, Minister Rodriguez, Minister Edgel used to collect the money. But the US saying, look, Azzedine got ties to Hezbollah. Look, Azzedine used to evade the taxes. Look, Azzedine used to smuggle the gold. Look, wire fraud. Look, mail fraud. So why people must believe you and not anybody else? Only your allegations of corruption matter? Azzedine cannot ask the nation to ignore US sanctions, ignore the indictments, ignore the extradition questions, ignore the gold smuggling allegations, ignore the tax evasion allegations, ignore the allegations of the bribing all the people them in customs in Guyana and in the US, ignore the mining enterprise and all illegal activities that they were allegedly involved in, ignore the tens of thousands of acres and only focus on President Ali 150-acre farm. No. As in, no. As in, no. Guyana must not be fooled like that. Because this is what political distraction looks like. When you're under pressure, create nice. Every other project body fire service headquarters. As it in, please, I call you by your right name. I don't know what. Hello? And then they're gonna hang on. Anyway, no, Guyanese will not do it. Guyanese will look at everything. Right? So we can't forget your allegations of corruption and remember everybody else. So you cannot demand that everybody else be held accountable while you refuse to even hold yourself accountable. You refuse to defend your record as a minor gold exporter and a businessman at one of the places in the world where people would say it's hard for injustice to prevail in the court system. Very hard. Right? Because the US, their judicial system is not like ours, where certain operators in the judicial system may be compromised or, I gotta be careful. Right? It's not like ours. So Guyana must not be fooled. Because this is what a distraction looks like. Right? When questions are coming your way, you point fingers. When your own record is heavy, you try to make somebody else look heavier. When sanctions are hanging over your name, you shout corruption at others. When extradition is in the air, you manufacture a scandal. You understand? And when the facts are inconvenient to your narrative, you turn it into spectacle. That is exactly what we're seeing here. Now, let us talk about President Ali's response. President Ali has said that he had the farm before he became president. He has denied using state resources. He has said his investments are known through the banking system. He has said his declarations and records can support what he is saying. He has linked his own farming activities to a broader national food security agenda. Now, that is what I call a bomber-clot proper response. You say it's corruption, but you go and find the corruption. You find where I get the money from. It's since you say wherever it is, and you bring it out. But based on what I know, I up to date with the Integrity Commission. The banking system facilitate the financing for what got going on here. And that is the ignorance. This boy, Javon Vickery, I swear to God, sometimes I just wonder if people got functioning brains. He's screaming and hollering all over the place. Blasted transmission. Now, listen to this. Javon Vickery he did a write-up, right? And he was calculating the president's yearly salary based on the market value of the land from when he started being president to now, and saying he couldn't accumulate the money. So what he been doing before he turned president? Pitching marbles? Playing dolly house with you, Javon? He had nothing going on. He was ever minister of government before. He could ever had a business before anything going on. Currently that generating money. Now, I want to, before I continue, touch on something that was said by Shaquan Gill when he was running for UGSS president. He was doing an interview. I can't remember who was interviewing him or on what station or where the interview was being done, but I remembered what he said. They were talking about young people and something about friends, family, and favorites come up, right? And Shaquan said that, and I paraphrase, and that's his exact words. Shaquan said that he doesn't believe in the friends, family, and favorites thing because naturally, persons network. And when you network, it's for favorable treatment in the future. So as a business person, you network with other business people, suppliers, transport people, whatever it is you need, you network, right? So that your operations become easier because of connections that you have made, friends that you have made. You understand? When you apply for a job, every single job that you apply for asks for a reference. This is another contrast or an analogy that he made. When you apply for a job, they ask for a reference. That reference helps you or helps the employer to understand you, where you were before, and whether they want to employ you now. The person giving you that reference had to be a friend, a family, an associate, someone that knows you and favors you. You understand where I'm coming from? So, in all of it, it's just networking. And everybody does it. Well, trouble. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So, President Ali has said, you check the system. You check the land records, check the purchasing price, you check and see where the money come from, check and see when last I declared to the Integrity Commission. Right? And again, I'm saying a bomber clock proper response. President Ali didn't run. President Ali didn't hide. President Ali did not pretend he does not know what agriculture is. President Ali didn't get 3 idiot lawyers to block everybody from asking any questions. President Ali didn't impugn the records of journalists in this country to tell them, you're not a journalist, so you can't ask me any questions. He said, yes, I'm involved in farming. Yes, I believe in food security. Yes, I invested in what I preach. Yes, I support agriculture. Yes, I want Guyana to produce more. And that is the point. President Ali has been pushing food security, not only for Guyana, but for the wider region. He has spoken about reducing CARICOM's food import bill. He has pushed agriculture, livestock, drainage and irrigation, new crops, agro-processing, farm-to-market access, and food resilience. One of the spin-offs of the agricultural push that President Ali is making is the farm-to-market access. I see over the weekend some diplomatic vehicle thief in Pier. Imagine Guyana at a stage now where Harrier could drive into the backlands and thief out the people. Oh, shucks, I got this. Thief out the people here. Y'all realize what's going on? That is how good things get in Guyana. You could go with your fancy vehicle, drive down in the backland, and raid people farm. Y'all don't do that. Don't do that. It could end badly. Farmers don't do that. These people working hard and they're waiting to reap the benefits. Pear is expensive too. I got pear on my farm, Sean. I used to sell pear and plant watermelon and them thing. Check my profile. You gotta go back. I got an album, a farming album, man. Go and check it. Used to farm back in the day, right? 290 something acres, not corruption, all legal, all legal. So who come for me as I got more land than well, my family has more land than the president right now. Private property, right? As Jesus, yeah, there's trouble in this comment section, you know, right? So that's what we're dealing with now. We got all-weather farm to market roads that you could drive your luxury SUV down or crossover, whatever you want to call it, the Harrier. Drive it down the dam. You don't modern up your vehicle or nothing. Raid the people them farm and beat out. Right? Raid the I tell you, sometimes I don't know what to say about Guyana. It's like every day is something new. Every day is something new. You understand? So, as I was saying earlier, what exactly is strange about the president having a farm? Would the opposition leader prefer a president who only talks agriculture but never touches the soil? Like, would he prefer the president to be like him, talking about things that he don't have no understanding about or never do in life? You talking about poor people, woes and cries? Would they prefer a president who speaks about food security but has no interest in farming? Would they prefer a president who tells young people to invest in agriculture while he himself invests only in luxury and spectacle? We got the example of the ass. No. President Ali is doing what he is asking the country to do. Produce, plant, rear, build, invest, expand, create jobs, strengthen food security. That is not scandal. That is leadership by example. And let us be honest about something else. Guyana needs more farming, not less. We need more livestock. We need more aquaculture. We need more poultry. We need more fruits. We need more vegetables. We need more agro processing. We need more local production. This country needs more investment in the interior and along the highways. We need more people using land productively. Not like the patch of land accident got parked up there on the East Bank. You talking about land? For decades, people complained that land was being left idle. Now a president is associated with a productive farm, and suddenly the same political class wants to call it a crime. Which one is it? Do we want production or not? Food security or not? Do we want Guyanese investing in agriculture or not? Do we want land to remain bush or do we want land to feed people? This is where the opposition's arguments collapses. Because if you attack farming without evidence of corruption, you're not fighting corruption, you're fighting production. There is a difference. Nobody is saying leaders must not be questioned. Of course, they must be questioned. Nobody is saying public officials must not be transparent. Of course, they must be transparent. Nobody is saying allegations must be ignored. Of course, they must be examined. But the standard must be evidence, not political incitement, not selective outrage, not a video, not a drone shot, not a bitter narrative. Evidence. If there's evidence, bring it. If there's no evidence, stop insulting the intelligence of Guyanese people. Because Guyanese understand land. Guyanese understand farming. Guyanese understand hustle. Guyanese understand investment. Guyanese understand that a man can own land without stealing. Guyanese understand that people can build a farm through loans, savings, family resources like me, private investment, and legitimate business. And you know what else? Guyanese also understand hypocrisy. They understand when a man who comes from a gold empire suddenly wants to play farmer police. They understand when a man pointing fingers is standing on a mountain of unresolved questions. They understand when a political attack is not about transparency, but about distraction. Let us put it this way. If 150 acres is supposed to shock us, what about 80,000? What should 80,000 acres do to us? What should 80,000 acres do to us? If a farm is supposed to frighten us, what should a gold mining empire do to us? If cattle and fish ponds are supposed to outrage us, what should allegations of more than 10,000 kilograms of undeclared gold do to us? If agriculture is supposed to be a national scandal, what do we call alleged tax evasion involving more than United States dollar 50 million? Let us be fair. Let us be consistent. Let us apply the same standard to everyone. If President Ali must answer questions, then Azadin Mohammed must answer questions too. If land ownership must be scrutinized, then scrutinize all land ownership. How you acquire 80,000 acres on your own? What happened to other miners? Nobody else in one mine gold? If wealth must be examined, then examine all the wealth. Let's look at your financial records of all them years. Where all this money coming from? If public office demands transparency, then the opposition leader must also be transparent. You cannot demand accountability from the government while hiding behind political victimhood when questions come to you. You cannot say, look at Ali's farm, but then say, don't look at my mining lands. You cannot say, investigate Ali's agriculture, but then say, ignore my gold business, my gold exports. You cannot say, where did his money come from, but refuse to fully answer, where did your money come from? That is not leadership. That is double standard. And double standard must be exposed. Now, there's another important point here. President Ali's farm is being attacked in a way that tries to make success look suspicious. This is dangerous for Guyana. Because if every investment becomes a scandal, nobody will invest. If every farm becomes corruption, young people will stay away from agriculture. If every businessman entering production is treated like a criminal, we will kill enterprise. Guyana cannot develop on envy. Guyana cannot grow on gossip. Guyana cannot build a modern economy if politics teaches people that success itself is proof of wrongdoing. No. We must encourage production and punish corruption where corruption is proven. Those are two different things. Support farming, demand transparency, support investment, demand declarations, support food security, demand accountability. But do not criminalize agriculture because you dislike the president. That's not patriotism. That's sabotage. And let's talk directly to the opposition leader this morning. And so that your listener can be respectful. Mr. Muhammad, honorable member, if you want to ask questions, ask questions. That is your right. If you want transparency, call for transparency. That is politics. But do not pretend that you are the clean-handed referee in Guyana's public life when your own name is tied to US sanctions, US indictments, extradition proceedings, gold smuggling allegations, tax evasion allegations, and a mining empire that controlled tens of thousands of acres of land. Oh, I forget, ties to terrorist organizations. Do not come to Guyana with a measuring tape for President Ali's farm and a blindfold for your own mining lands. Do not come with a camera for 150 acres and silent for 80,000 acres. Do not come with outrage for agriculture and excuses for gold smuggling. Do not come with morality only when it benefits you politically. Because Guyanese people are watching and they are not fools. The same people you're asking to be angry about a farm are asking, what about mining lands? What about gold smuggling? What about sanctions? What about indictments? What about extradition? What about the Mohammed's business enterprise? What about the allegations from the United States? Those questions cannot be brushed aside. Now, some people may say, but Courdel, a president must be held to a high standard. Correct. Absolutely correct. President Ali must be held to a high standard. Every president must be held to a high standard. But an opposition leader also must be held to a standard. A man asking to lead, judge, accuse, and condemn others must also answer for his own record. That is fairness, that is balance, and most of all, that is democracy. And democracy cannot survive if one side is allowed to accuse without evidence, while refusing to answer evidence-based questions about himself. So here is the bottom line. A 150-acre farm is not proof of corruption. A farm is not a felony. Agriculture is not a crime. Food production is not a scandal. Acreage is not evidence. The question is source of funds, legality, declaration, and whether state resources were used. President Ali has denied the allegations. He has said his investment is traceable. He has linked his farming to his food security agenda. That is the record. On the other side, Azadin Mohammed and his family's business background face serious questions from US authorities, public sanctions, indictments, extradition issues, and public reporting of many other incidents. Ryan Passad, Ricardo Fagundes, among others. That is also the record. So let us not pretend that this is a clean anti-corruption campaign. This more looks like a man under pressure trying to create pressure elsewhere. This looks more like a distraction than accountability. This is more like political mudslinging than genuine investigation. And Guyana must not fall for it. Right? Guyana must not fall for it. If you want to fight corruption, bring the evidence, bring the documents, bring the proof, but do not insult farmers. Do not attack the president with your photos and videos of water farm. So what? Do not criminalize agriculture. Do not pretend that land being used for food production is automatically suspicious. And definitely do not lecture this country about 150 acres when you have controlled much more than that. It's the height of its hypocrisy. It is contradiction. And we realize that that's something that you give normally. But we're asking you to be better. We're asking you to be better. President Ali is pushing food security. He is pushing production. He's pushing agriculture. President Ali is pushing Guyana to feed itself and help feed the region. So if he is farming, that supports the message. It does not destroy it. And those who know, those who want to attack the president must do better than small stage political theater. They must bring evidence. They must bring facts. They must bring proof. And then this will become a scandal. But until then, this is a farm. And the only thing being harvested here is opposition hypocrisy. The only thing. Right? Now, that aside, I noticed Minister Mustafa put out a statement. Right? I noticed Minister Mustafa put out a statement in relation to these continued attacks on him, the ministry that falls under his purview, and then going over to his family, right? So we've seen these attacks by Azadin on the ministry and its facilities. And again, I want to reiterate, we're noticing a pattern. Right? We're noticing a pattern. When the facts are not on Azadin's side, he reaches for innuendo. When evidence is missing, he manufactures suspicion. When the public record does not support Azadin's narrative, he goes to social media, throws mud, and hopes some of it will stick. Right? And that is what we've been seeing with these allegations against Minister of Agriculture Zulfikar Mustafa, the Black Belly Sheep, and the Black Belly Sheep Project. Again, this is not accountability. This is not investigation. This is not proof. It is another politically, legally, and personally motivated attack designed to distract, intimidate, and create confusion. And the minister has now responded clearly. He has said, one, the allegations are false. He has said they are malicious and without merit entirely. And most importantly, he has said they identified no act of wrongdoing on his part because none exists. And that is a key point. If you're accusing a minister of corruption, where is the act? Where is the document? Where is the payment? Where is the instruction? Where is the contract manipulation? Where is the evidence of personal benefit by Minister Mustafa? Where is your proof? You cannot build a corruption case on vibes. You cannot prosecute the minister based on your Facebook speculation. Guyanese are not convicted because Azadeen Mohammed woke up and decided to point a finger. This country must not allow politics to become trial by social media, where one man's legal troubles of his own, with legal troubles of his own, gets to accuse everybody else and then call himself a victim when questions come back to him. Because that is what this really is about. Minister Mustafa is saying clearly that Mohammed is trying to reinforce a narrative of political victimhood. And let us be honest, this is the same pattern that we've been seeing. The man entered politics after serious investigations and legal proceedings involving him in the United States had already begun. So now, every accusation, every Facebook post, every political attack seems designed to tell the world, look at me, I'm being persecuted. But Guyanese must ask, persecuted by who? Persecuted by facts? Persecuted by investigation? You're being persecuted by the public record? Persecuted by your own associations, your own decisions, your own legal situation? You cannot throw stones at everybody and then cry persecution when people ask you to account for yourself. And this latest attack goes even lower because, according to Minister, it's not just political, it's personal. The minister is saying that his son has become a target because his son made a personal decision to no longer keep company with Azadeen Mohammed. I told y'all a very close associate of the family gave me that information about a week and a half ago. I shared that with y'all. He vexed, got Javed one. Is Javed his name? I don't know the minister's son. But Minister Mustafa's son. He vexed because the man say, hey, bro, things, you got a little too much going on. I got to move over here. He vexed. You understand? Now, let's pause there for a minute. A grown man decides he's no longer wants to associate himself with another grown man. He moves on with his life. He chooses his own path. And because of that, the attacks began. What kind of politics is that? What kind of leadership is that? What kind of character is that? In a democracy, people have the right to associate and the right to disassociate. No one is obligated to remain in your circle. No one is obligated to stay in your company. No one is obligated to carry your burden as it is, defend your image, or stand by you when they decide they want to move forward with their own life. Minister Mustafa's son is an independent adult. And based on the release, a gold miner and a qualified medical doctor. And according to the minister, he has never been involved in politics. So why drag the minister's son into the political warfare? Why attack his reputation? Why try to damage his name? Why go after a family because someone chose to walk away? That's not accountability, as it is. That's resentment. You're in your feelings. And I mean, it's not like even if it's a board, it's a banner. Just giving some weird vibes, bro. It's a guy. Why are you upset? What's going on? So all this that Azadine is doing is not anti-corruption. It's a personal grievance dressed up as public concern. And this is where Guyanese people must be careful. Right? Because political attacks are not about the country. Some of them. Sometimes they're about ego. Sometimes they're about revenge. Sometimes they're about punishing people who refuse to stand with you. Sometimes it's about sending a message. If you leave my circle, I will come for you. That is dangerous, reckless, and it must be rejected. Minister Mustafa is saying he will not be distracted. And frankly, he should not be distracted. The Ministry of Agriculture has real work to do. This morning, they done start already. They started at 8:30. They are bringing relief to rice farmers in Region 3 at the Lenora synthetic track. Right? Farmers need drainage. Farmers need access to lands. Livestock development has to continue. As I said, rice farmer support. Fisher folk need representation. Food security has to remain a national priority. Guyana has regional responsibility to help feed the Caribbean. So while one man is busy building narratives online, the minister has to continue building systems on the ground. Right? So ask a talk as much you want about the black belly sheep. I've shown you the farmers that have benefited. You've heard from the minister. You've heard from Dr. Walron. I don't know what else you need to hear or see. Right? To take the word of a man that literally shows you nothing and call it corruption. Doesn't have the understanding of projects and policies and label them as corruption. I got to be idle to follow that. Anyway, guys, I got to get out of here. A hectic day ahead. Y'all, please be good Guyanese. Continue to listen to the police and not give them a hard time. Right? Look, last night I coming home from by a friend and literally accident right in front of my face. So I don't know. It's like once Guyanese see like a straightaway or a wide piece of road section that they could go fast on, Just try the best to go as fast as possible. And in this case, in my opinion, both were wrong. The guy who's coming off of the Harbor Bridge was speeding. The guy who's coming out of the side street should have waited till the car passed before he turned out. So he turned out and he even accelerated. He turned out and just driving slow. So this guy pelting coming off of the Harbor Bridge on the East Bank side, Barjagio Harbor Bridge. And the bus turns and goes into his lane and just driving slow going. So he come in and into the back of the bus. I saying by these people, they hit me new car. Oh my goodness. What? Oh, Father, thank you for covering me. Cover your bike. Y'all be safe on the roadways out there. Y'all continue to be good Guyanese. Remember to be kind to somebody today. You never know what people are dealing with. And as I usually say before I go, it's all about peace. It's all about love. It's all about...
We are a peaceful people, struggle as we struggle, and we don't look for trouble, just ask around. But when outside faces from foreign places talk about taking over, we ain't backing down. We ain't giving up no mountains, we ain't giving up no trees.